Steven, did we miss out on the biggest sports story last week?
Which one?
Well, the most obvious one.
Which?
Zach Wilson banging his mom's friend.
So I read, and
By
I
the
know
way,
we don't.
did you get an email to start off this podcast right away?
Yeah, I did. Sorry.
That was fantastic timing.
Yeah, I know, right?
Threw me off there.
I got to figure out a way to turn that off.
No, it's fine. Ding away, sir. Ding away.
But I saw a Barstool article where, like, one of the guys, I guess he's Billy Football. I think he was like an intern with Pardon My Take. He was on that podcast.
Yeah, I know the name.
He wrote an article where he basically said that all of that was false because he knew people that knew Zach Wilson. And that was all a ploy from his ex-girlfriend who is currently dating somebody else who I can't remember. He's on the, I forgot.
His BYU teammate.
He's on the, he's on the Commanders. So she put that out there and it's all fake. So yeah, I guess we did miss on the biggest sports story of the week last week.
I thought it was going to be fake, but I choose not to believe it, sir, because it is one incredible story.
Yeah.
And it makes everyone go from being like, Zach Wilson looks like a High School Musical guy, to now everyone's like, yeah, Zach Wilson, all right, good for you, man.
Everyone all of a sudden think he's actually like a good quarterback. Everyone was making fun of him all last year.
No. And the catchphrase was he's throwing bombs and banging moms.
Yeah.
But the truth is he was never throwing bombs. So if he sucks again this year, it'll just be like, at least he's a MILF hunter.
At least he has that. At least he has that. I don't believe it though. I don't.
Yeah, I mean, it may have been just a story to get back at the homie hopping accusation. I love that term, actually, by the way, homie hopping.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, we missed out on that story because I had no Wi-Fi last week. And welcome everybody to Just Your Opinion, man. Stephen Langford, Derek Papa. I went 4 days. 4 days, Stephen. And everybody
4 long days
in the city of Oakland that had Xfinity Wi-Fi were without Wi-Fi for 4 days.
Oof.
Yeah, brutal. Apparently some vandal cut the Wi-Fi fiber optics, I guess.
Vandal?
Yeah, some vandal.
Okay.
Cut the Wi-Fi fiber optics, as it was phrased to me in an email, and we were without Wi-Fi for 4 days. That's why we didn't do a podcast last week.
Okay. So how'd it go? How'd you survive without the Wi-Fi?
You want to know what I did? I have one DVD in my possession. It's Wolf of Wall Street. I've seen that movie a million times, so just watched it again. And watched all the DVD extras. And I know a lot about that movie now. If you want to quiz me,
the DVD extras.
It was a long 4 days.
Oh my god!
Especially when I cut the cord and I have YouTube TV. And I have no cable now, so whenever the Wi-Fi goes down, I'm shit out of luck. Which, by the way, I'm watching, just to give you guys updates, Giants-Dodgers 4-4 tied right now in a stalemate.
Yeah, I know. Finally, they're actually within reach. God, this series has just been depressing to watch.
But is it too little too late? We'll get to that a little later.
Yeah, it's way too little, way too late. But, it was already too little too late by the time the season started, and I think we're all just coming to terms with that by now. So,
all right. We'll get to that.
It's a lot.
I was going to bring something else up to you, Stephen. So football season's around the corner, and one of our mainstays on this podcast is we do Wins or Wangs, where we will pick the NFL games, and then whoever loses in the pick contest week to week has to eat spicy wings. But I know you weren't really feeling it towards the end. And as I get older, chicken wings do not sit with me fantastic the next day. But that's kind of the whole point, is to put people in pain. So I ask you, sir, should we continue with the wings, or should we make whoever loses drink some coffee with mayonnaise in it?
Oh, God.
Is that worse?
Oh, that is so much worse. But
Stick with the wings then.
We might have to do that.
Oh.
Yeah.
I hate coffee to begin with. You know I'm not a coffee guy.
We need something new. Coffee and mayonnaise is great.
Okay, and sorry to start off with disgusting talk here, but what's going to cause more diarrhea the next day?
Oh, I'd say the hot sauce would, but it depends how much of the hot sauce you eat. Like if you put the mayonnaise in the coffee, like that dude Will Levis did, where he's just the worst part about it too was that it was like a mayonnaise from a squirt bottle.
Yes. Okay. Are you with an agreement with me? I was telling people at the KMBR studio. I refuse to eat mayonnaise from a squeeze bottle because that shit's just disgusting.
Right.
I always have to get the spreadable because it just comes out better.
Yeah.
The squeezing, the sound it makes, and the white stuff coming from the bottle.
Yeah.
Not a fan. Every time my mom would buy the squeeze bottle, I'm like, I'm not eating that mayonnaise.
Yeah.
So it's perfectly fine. But
I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is, man. You can't eat the mayonnaise out of the squirt bottle. You could eat ketchup, mustard. I like I don't have it anymore, but I was fine at one point with having jelly being squeezed out of a bottle. I had grape jelly squeezed out of a bottle once.
Did you ever do the peanut butter and jelly mixed together?
I did do that once.
I heard that's disgusting.
Yeah, I don't ever want to do that again.
Okay.
Like just get the peanut butter, get the jelly separately. But mayonnaise out of a squirt bottle? No, just not going to work.
Gross.
Oh,
the optics of it. Yeah.
Isn't that what they do though with the hot dogs wrapped in bacon? Like when you buy them outside of like a stadium or you're in downtown San Jose, I know they're always selling those hot dogs out there with the onions and the peppers. Like, don't they put mayonnaise on it through a squirt bottle?
Not that do you put mayonnaise on your hot dog?
No, but I thought they did. Isn't that the mayonnaise that they put on there?
I would tell them don't do that. But I love those carts.
Sheesh, these pictures for the Dodgers are filthy. But yeah, no, I think it was like mayonnaise through a squirt bottle.
Yeah, that's gross.
Yeah.
So yeah, this Will Levis guy, he's supposedly in the conversation for being a first-round draft pick in the 2023 NFL draft, but his draft stock may have taken a hit after this shit, or may be rising because everybody the next day on national media, whether it was ESPN or NFL Network, everybody was attempting to do this shit. I saw Mike Garafolo putting mayonnaise in his coffee and drinking it, saying it wasn't that bad. I'm not trying it because I hate coffee to begin with, but I saw you were doing this on your show, Steven, the pregame show. What were some of the most disgusting food combos people were talking about?
Oh, man. Gosh, there were a lot on the text line. A lot involving tuna. There are a lot of nasty ones.
I can't do tuna. Can't do tuna.
A lot of nasty ones involving tuna. I got a call from some Burns in Fremont was his name. And he was telling me he used to do construction.
We used to know a Burns at Fremont.
Yeah. Well, actually, you were working at the station. Burns has been a long-time caller. You were working at the station. You might recognize him. I don't know. But he called in saying he used to do construction out in Oklahoma, and they'd go to 7-Eleven, and his friend would get the 7-Eleven corn dog and just cover it in 7-Eleven mayonnaise and eat that. And then they'd also have like coffee and red hot chili or something like that. Yeah, that one was gross. Then there were
sounds like you'll need like Depends after that.
I know, right? There were a lot of actually. That's like the most callers I've had in a while. It's like I'm talking Giants baseball or something. I'm like, what do you want the Giants to do with the trade deadline? What do you want them to do with Juan Soto? I got like 2 texts, but then as soon as I say, what's the nastiest food combination that you've ever tried or you've witnessed, then all of a sudden the text line starts flowing at 5:30 in the morning, and I get 2 callers right away, 2 guys who I haven't heard from in a while. So like, I think we just know where the Bay Area's head is at when it comes to sports in July, and that is food. Whenever food talk comes up, everybody has an opinion on it. It's just their opinion.
Same thing for our show, man. We were talking about Juan Soto, and then for whatever reason, Tolbert says on the air, that Jesus was a stoner, and then everybody just started coming in with
yikes
jokes and opinions and just text line stuff. I've been learning that some of the best radio is just dicking around, just coming up with every man shit or every woman shit or just the common person stuff.
Yes. Yeah, the coffee and the mayonnaise, though, I don't know if there can be anything that's nastier. A lot of them were involving mayonnaise. God, I'm trying to remember. There's somewhere it was like, I wish I could remember more. Like, there's been so many days that have passed since I did that little segment, and the text line was just rolling in with a lot of them. There was something involving like caviar and mushrooms. I don't know. Like mushrooms.
That actually sounds good.
That's what sounded fine. I don't know. Some people.
Do you have any?
Well, like the nastiest that I've tried or the nastiest that I used to have.
Things that you put together that most people be like, that doesn't go together food-wise.
Nowadays, no. I'd say that I'm a pretty I'd say that as far as my eating habits go, people would be like fine with what I would eat, and they'd welcome it. They'd be like, "Oh, you're having that? I'll have some of that too." Like I don't think I have too many of those. Maybe like one that I one that I used to do. I don't do that anymore. But when I was a kid, I was really in a ketchup phase,
Mm-hmm.
and we used to put I used to put ketchup on spaghetti. I just have the
I've
spaghetti
heard that before.
and then put ketchup on it.
I want to
And
do
then,
that, but
and then I had peanut butter and ketchup sandwiches when I was younger. Yeah,
ugh.
I'd put those together. I was in a little ketchup phase. I thought it was good, but yeah, I'll
Was it
never
good?
try. I'm never trying that again. Well, at the time, I thought it was delicious. I thought it was
Yeah.
like a Michelin star chef. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, ketchup on spaghetti is just what they serve at Olive Garden, so that's not really that,
essentially. Yeah. So I don't know. Nothing too crazy now, though. What about you?
I mean, the craziest thing I would do is like my mom would, like I said before in a previous podcast, I love Cheez-Its. I could crush a whole box of Cheez-Its if I'm in the right state of mind.
Right.
And you get like little Hershey's Kisses. If you put Hershey's Kiss, like a s'more, if you get 2 Cheez-It crackers and mush it with a chocolate kiss, tastes delicious.
Huh.
Yeah.
And you did this when you were a kid?
I did when I was a kid. I don't try to do that a lot because that's a lot of fat for Cheez-Its mixing with
At what age?
Chip. I'm 31 now, so I would say, when I was 28, I was doing this.
Yeah, you were definitely in a certain state of mind when you were 28 years old and you were doing that. My God. Cheez-Its with a Hershey Kiss in the middle. Oh, man. Look, hey, you have s'mores? Why do we have to just restrict it to just graham cracker and marshmallow and chocolate? Why can't we have anything else savory with it?
Is that your impression of me?
No, but that's like my stoner impression.
Oh, okay. And like, I'm going to the movies later, and I do like putting M&Ms in my popcorn. Don't know if I'll do it tonight, but yeah, that's a common thing.
No, you got to mix the sweet and the savory. I like that. Some people are put off by that, but I'm not. I'm a fan of that.
Yeah.
I
am interested to see this quarterback play now, though.
If
he's good.
Oh, Will Levis,
the Kentucky quarterback that started doing this shit.
Yeah.
Forgot about him.
Yeah, I know. I just didn't think that there'd be like like Best Foods creamer. Like Best Foods mayonnaise creamer. I don't think they made mayonnaise for that specific combination of food. Just nasty.
Yeah. I like mayonnaise, but just it's a gag type of condiment.
Yeah. Ugh. Wait, you don't like it that much though? Like what do you put?
No, I mean, as we all know, all white people love mayonnaise.
Yes.
But I love it on sandwiches. Tastes great. But just like in certain settings, like obviously the Duke's Mayo Bowl, where they would fucking dunk the like a Gatorade bath of mayonnaise on the winning coach. Gross. Yes. That's fucking disgusting. Like eating straight up mayonnaise or like butter, that stuff. Ugh, that's a gag thing.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of it.
Not a fan either. All right, let's talk about actual sports here. So, we're getting close, man. Football. It's getting close, man. Training camp for the 49ers starts Tuesday. The Raiders are already in camp. We'll talk a lot about that. Things are happening, man, and I'm getting excited, man. And I'm especially excited because next Saturday, I can't believe I'm saying this. This is a phrase I never thought I would say. I may be going to Niners training camp to check things out. And Saturday is back to football. It's like a extravaganza where they have all 32 teams go to camp. And NFL Network does their coverage all day. And last year, I had to get my ass up at 4 a.m. You do this every day, Stephen. But on a Saturday last year, I had to go in at 5 a.m. and just cut B-roll of guys walking around in pads in practice. And I'm so thankful I don't have to do that shit anymore. God, I'm so thankful.
So you're going to be going live on Saturday?
I might be. I'm thinking about it. I might roll up and check out what's going down with the Niners.
I will be there on Wednesday.
I heard.
So I will be there. We're broadcasting live from the Hilton, which is going to be fun. Bonte is going to be in Europe. So he's going to be gone for a few days, and we're going to be doing that whole thing. So I'm going to be down there in training camp, just taking videos of these players. Like I don't know. Whenever you get up close with these guys, it's just like you get this idea that you just like, you can't criticize these dudes. Look at them. They'll crush you. They will absolutely destroy you.
Or you think about everything you said about them in the past. And you're like, are they going to beat me up now?
Yeah, I know, right? Like, were you listening at 5:17 that one time where I made fun of you for missing a tackle? You know?
So it's you and Shasky from the Hilton next Wednesday?
Yes, it is.
All right. Yep. So how to correct for me?
Next Wednesday and next Thursday.
All right. So how do you mother for me?
Yeah, will do.
No. My father for you, I should say. Well, that's cool. And we'll see if Jimmy Garoppolo is going to be there, because we got some conflicting reports. Ooh. And hopefully this drama, this soap opera, comes to an end here, because it looks like it's getting towards the end here, but it may be longer than we expected. So Ian Rapoport, Rap Sheet, last Wednesday, I want to say, comes out with this report saying Jimmy G has been throwing for several weeks. The focus will not be on making one deep throw, but on making many throws in order to get the rigors of the game or a practice. That's what full clearance would mean. The belief is he would be stronger than before. And he adds on that he won't be good to go, cleared to practice until mid-August. Then, we saw my buddy Middlecoff going back and forth with Ian Rapoport saying he's been throwing for weeks, hasn't he? And the truth is, yes, but not to the extent that the Niners are capable of either putting him on the field or shopping him.
Right.
Then Adam Schefter comes out the very next day saying 49ers officially have given Jimmy Garoppolo's agents, Don Yee and Carter Chow, permission to seek a trade. Garoppolo has been cleared to start practicing, different than what Ian Rapoport is saying. 49ers are still expected to exercise caution with him this summer. So there's that. We don't know if he's cleared to practice. It's all fucking semantics, basically.
Yes.
Whether he's been practicing, he's good to go, he's cleared for the Niners' sake. And then Matt Maiocco comes out and tweets, this is news. This is news, Schefter. He's had permission to seek a trade since March. John Lynch said that at the owners' meetings, or not the owners' meeting, the combine meetings in February. So is this news? None of this is news, in my opinion.
Yeah, there isn't any news. Like that was the problem with that show that I did with the mayonnaise and the coffee, because that was the day after all those reports came out, and
that's what you led with.
Well, no, I led with Giants, and I had Soto stuff going on, and then at from 5:40 on, I was expecting it maybe to last 5 to 10 minutes, and then for the rest of the show, I could discuss this Jimmy thing, but really it all lasted till like 5:56. So I just went on for like 3 minutes, just sharing my thoughts on the Jimmy thing, and it all was just so confusing.
Yeah,
like there's nothing. Like, what did we learn? Like, what is new? Because the one that really did get me, though, was the cleared to practice from Adam Schefter. Like, forget about the seeking permission to trade. Like, we knew about that one, but he's cleared to practice already. So does that mean he's going to be there at the start of training camp?
Not according to Rapoport. He won't be cleared until mid-August.
He's not expected to be cleared until mid-August. Like, that was the key word there. Expected. The expected return date is mid-August.
Here's what I think.
What are we doing here?
I believe that these are a bunch of things just to push out the narrative that the Niners did all they could until eventually they may have to release him. But my expectation is Jimmy Garoppolo will remain on the 49ers until mid-August, which is going to suck because that's going to be a talking point every day. But I don't think you'll see him. I don't think he's going to be with the team. He might be at the facility, but you're not going to see him on the field practicing with Trey Lance. It's going to be Trey Lance taking the reps, and Jimmy's off somewhere else, or not even there. And I think it's a wait-and-see thing until Deshaun Watson gets suspended. If he is suspended 8 games or more, then I believe the Cleveland Browns are going to trade for him. If not, if he's suspended 4 to 6 games, then you got an issue on your hands. And then I think the Niners are shit out of luck, and you may have to just cut ties with him and release him. Yes. There's another report. Cam Marino. Don't know who this guy is. He covers the Atlanta Falcons, but he claims that the Falcons are interested in Jimmy Garoppolo along with the Texans, Seahawks, Lions, Falcons, and Dolphins. Don't know who this guy is. He has a blue check mark next to him, and in today's age, that's all you need for a report to be verified and go with other publications. But then some guy named Greg Papa says that report is stupid and that the Atlanta Falcons, well, actually, I should say the part that he disputes is that Cam Marino says that the Cleveland Browns are not interested in Jimmy Garoppolo. And you take what you want with it, but Greg Papa has good authority to believe that the Cleveland Browns are all in on Jimmy Garoppolo if Deshaun Watson gets a lengthy suspension. Who knows? My dad broke the Marshawn Lynch news. Who's to say? But I don't know. I don't know where this goes. All I know is that we're getting to the point now where either it could be just Jimmy gets traded to the Cleveland Browns or he gets cut. And I've heard also that the Seahawks are interested. It's just a matter, though, because they're not going to trade him to the Seahawks. So the Seahawks could be in play. There's a lot of teams that could be in play. I read all the teams that Cam Marino was reporting. It would make sense with the Miami Dolphins. There was another report out there that the Giants were interested. Who knows at this point? But I think all that stuff with Rappaport and Schefter is just to get everybody prepared for the fact that the Niners are trying to send the narrative that they did all they could. And in the end, they made us have to cut this guy.
Just to give you a quick update, the Giants or the Dodgers are up 6-4 now.
Because of Lamb?
Yeah, out of nowhere, man. Tyler Rogers comes in and it's just, oh boy. So I do think the Browns are going to be that first destination. I don't know what's going to happen with Watson, but I thought the news was going to come down this weekend. Like Pro Football Talk had it. Mike Florio, our guy.
Your guy.
Our guy. He had it on.
Where's his pie in the face?
I know, right? He had it on. He had it on Pro Football Talk though that the move could be made by Friday as teams ramp up training camp, and you want to get your quarterbacks. Is your rosters finalized, or at least your 90-man rosters finalized before you cut it down to a 53. So he thought the move was going to be made by then, or at least the verdict was going to be brought down by then, and we'll see what the suspension is going to be. But I agree with you. If it is 8 games or more, I mean, can you really last for half a season with just backup quarterbacks? Ernie's asking how many quarterbacks do the Browns have? Well, they currently have 4 on their roster right now if you count Josh Rosen. I think they really got to bring that down, though, because they got, Jacoby Brissett, Josh Dobbs, and who's the other guy? And Deshaun. Deshaun. So technically 4 quarterbacks right now on the Browns. I think that eventually we're going to get some sort of decision with Deshaun Watson, and from there we'll know what's going to happen. But either that or he's just going to be cut, like straight up cut. But, the Browns are the most likely team, though, because when it comes to money, like the Browns don't care. They don't care about the money right now. They got plenty of cap space. Are they really going to care that much? I mean, I could see them reworking a deal, maybe doing something like with Baker Mayfield, but, Jimmy Garoppolo is making more money than he is. So I don't know. Are the 49ers going to be willing to eat $5 million of that salary in order to trade him away? Probably.
If that's it, that's not that much, considering he makes $27 million.
Yeah.
I would say that, yes, I agree with you, Steven. The Cleveland Browns currently have the most cap space in the NFL, but they may play hardball with the Niners to the point where they're like, well, you're just going to cut him anyway, so why don't we get him on the cheap, as opposed to having to pay for that full salary.
Yeah,
it's a tough deal. Not many teams are going to want to pay a backup or a fill-in guy $27 million. And then the Niners also say that they're prepared to take on that money if he stays. I don't know. All I'm saying is that it's looking like it's getting closer and closer to the fact if the Deshaun Watson thing doesn't go the Niners' way, and that's kind of a poor way of saying that, but they want him to be suspended for a majority of the season for him to make this trade, then the Niners may just have to release him. And as far as the Deshaun Watson news, I did see that article with Mike Florio. It didn't make sense to have a dump story on Friday that you don't want a lot of people talking about going into the weekend. The rumor is that everyone's expecting Deshaun Watson to get 4 to 6 games, and the national media is going to have a field day on that. So it could be that the arbiter of this the hearing, she may give a ruling of what she seems fair, and in the end, Roger Goodell could say, well, that's not good enough for me. I may suspend him the whole goddamn season. We saw it. I hate comparing the two because they're totally different situations. But Trevor Bauer has been suspended 2 full seasons and wasn't convicted of anything. It could be just because of the case of how heinous of what he's accused of and relating to public perception that they decided to do that. Could be the same thing with Deshaun Watson. I don't know what's going to happen. I would expect that this decision may come down tomorrow, Monday, July 25th, because the Cleveland Browns are reporting to camp on the 26th, and it would just get awkward from there if Deshaun Watson is suspended a lengthy time. I don't know if he would show up to training camp. It technically wouldn't be if he is suspended the full season. He still could play in preseason games, but at that point, that's just ridiculous. So who's to say when this stuff's going to happen? I don't know. It could just get really weird, and I can't wait, and I'm saying that jokingly, for the Bay Area media to not have this resolved and we go into preseason games where Trey Lance most likely will play. I don't see why you wouldn't play him. I understand that you don't want to have injuries, but he is a second-year quarterback and he didn't play a lot last season, so I would want him to play in the preseason. You know, you may have to play Jimmy too to see how he is doing with the shoulder and audition him off to other teams. But then again, you don't want him getting hurt. So I don't know what you do.
Yeah, I don't think Kyle Shanahan knows what to do. I don't think John Lynch knows what to do.
Well, they know what to do. They're professionals.
Well, yeah, sure, but I mean, just cut them. Just cut bait. Just be done. Yeah,
but then if someone gets hurt in the preseason, aren't you going to want that guy there in case something happens? I don't think anything gets resolved until before the season starts, even with the Deshaun Watson suspension.
Yeah. I don't know. I've been trying to create ways in my head of just how things can play out in training camp if Jimmy Garoppolo is there. And I'm of the belief that, look, if Trey Lance is going to be your starting quarterback, I want him to have just clear tunnel vision, no outside noise bothering him about Jimmy Garoppolo. Like, even if your starting quarterback is supposed to relish that type of opportunity just to beat that guy and, you know, become the franchise dude, I personally just think, you know what, it'd be easier just to get rid of Jimmy and just be done with it. Have Trey Lance understand that he's the number one guy and that this is his team and that the ship is going to die along with him if it does. But with Garoppolo, if he's still there, I do understand the argument. Like, you do need a good backup quarterback around if this dude doesn't last in the preseason. But another thing, and do you think this is just overthinking it? Just, you could tell me if it is.
Okay.
But if Garoppolo's still there and he's taking reps with the ones, like, I don't want to see, or I wouldn't want my wide receivers. God, what you got police sirens going off there too? Damn, bro, you can't get away from it.
It's Oakland, baby.
Yeah, damn.
West Hollywood, Oakland. Everyone's out to get me.
By the way, Trace Thompson just hit a double and or excuse me, it ended up being a single, but Clay was going nuts. Or was it a single? It was a single, I think. Did someone else? It was a double, and Bellinger just got on base. So,
I saw Clay. Yeah, I mean, Clay, I know he's in front of the Giants bench, but or dugout, I should say. He's rooting for his brother. Yeah. You got to. And I don't want Giants fans getting all mad because he's rooting for his brother. Come on.
Yeah, no, they better.
He's also it's hot in LA. You see him cleaning his pits off?
Yeah. Gross. Do you think it's overthinking it too much, saying that, look, if Garoppolo gets reps with the ones, like, they're going to be seeing a different type of ball thrown to them? Like,
yeah, 100% they will. Same thing, Joe Montana, Steve Young threw different balls, obviously left-handed. Steve Young.
Yeah. But do you think that consistency can ruin things?
No. No, I wouldn't say that. I would say that my dad goes back and forth with this. He seems to believe that Jimmy being there can only help Trey.
Okay.
And I disagree with that. I think that if it's Trey's team, he needs to know it's his team. That being said, he does need a backup quarterback. I don't think it's in the best interest to have Jimmy Garoppolo be the backup quarterback because, quite frankly, I don't think Jimmy wants to be there anymore. He said his goodbyes, and it's time to move on. And I think, I'm throwing this out there. I don't know how likely it is. A guy that we were talking about that'd be a great backup quarterback for Trey Lance is Tyrod Taylor. And a team that was linked to Jimmy Garoppolo is the New York Giants. So if it comes to the point where you want to make a move and you want to trade Jimmy Garoppolo for Tyrod, I think that'd be the best interest for the 49ers to get a good backup quarterback, because if Jimmy is released or dealt and you're going in with just Trey Lance and Nate Sudfeld and Brock Purdy, that's a bad situation, because I hope good things for Trey Lance, but he is susceptible to injury with the style of play. So you do need a good backup quarterback behind him.
Yeah, I get that. That'd be a wild move if they were able to pull that off. We're able just to straight up get Tyrod Taylor as a backup and then throw in Jimmy Garoppolo in there. That'd be a fantastic move for them, I think. You're not going to have to change too much when it comes to how they run the offense. Of course, you're going to simplify it if Trey Lance is out and Tyrod Taylor's in. I don't know. I'm just so fatigued by it all. I really am. Like,
I just want to get to the season already, man. And I think the Niners do too. It's kind of cut and dry clear when you hear Kyle Shanahan a couple of months ago or weeks ago, where he said, if Jimmy's available in a trade, we're going to trade him. They want to move on with Trey Lance. It's pretty clear.
Yeah.
It's just a matter of, I get it. Like, you have a starting quarterback in this league that needs to be traded, and you want to get value for him. Just to cut him doesn't really do any benefit for you in the long term of things. I understand some people may scoff at a 5th round pick, 6th round pick, 7th round pick, but that's value to these guys. I completely understand. It's people are tired of it. They want to move on, but you do want to get, you do want to benefit your team in the future, and having a quarterback, something that a lot of teams will need if a injury does go down. I understand why they're in wait and see mode.
Well, yeah, and they do need to get that value for him, because in the end, like, not only could you be trading Garoppolo for a draft pick, but you could be trading Garoppolo for, a starter as a running back in 2023 or 2024.
Yeah, the running back room's pretty heavy though now.
Not a starter, but like a backup, like a
center.
Just a guy in the 5th. Like, they have been kings of finding running backs in the 5th through 7th rounds as of late. Going back to Matt Breida, obviously Elijah Mitchell's one of those guys. Like, they could find a running back and just stash them. I think that'd be that needs to be the move. That needs to be the move. And maybe that's why we're seeing all these. That's why we're seeing all these reports right now. Maybe it's the 49ers putting stuff out and telling one source this and one source that. I don't know. And Adam Schefter, we do know that Schefter's kind of, loves the Shanahans. So maybe there's something there to that.
He may be buying him gifts. You saw that story?
No, what?
Schefter apparently has been buying people a shit ton of gifts over the years, like spending thousands and thousands of dollars to his sources so he gets the best scoops.
Nice. Play the game, baby.
Play the game. Speaking of playing the game, we'll see Trey Lance supposedly as the starter up against Kyler Murray this season. And Kyler Murray, quarterback of the Arizona Cardinals, got paid.
Yes.
See what happens, kids, when you complain and you scrub your social media account and you threaten to play baseball and you have your agent just send out a tweet to the whole league that he needs to get paid because he's done so much in the league? Yeah. Kyler Murray gets a 5-year, $230 million deal, 160 guaranteed. And this is the fun one. He gets $46 million a year. Yes, that's second to Aaron Rodgers. Look, I like Kyler Murray. I think he's a great player. He could be fantastic later on in his career, but he has not proven anything to me that he deserves this contract. Should he have got paid? Most likely, yes. But this is an absorbent amount of money to give a guy that shit the bed in that playoff game where he threw the ball up in the air and got it picked off with the Rams playoff game against the Cardinals. I understand he starts the season hot, but then if you look at the stats, he is 7-18 when the Cardinals are in week 8 or later. So I understand that's just how the game is played these days with the quarterbacks. The next guy's going to get the next big contract. But man, I just don't think that, like, were they prepared for Kyler Murray to hold out the whole goddamn season? I don't think that was going to happen. So I don't know. I just don't like the fact that Kyler Murray, that the perception of him is that he's spoiled, and this kind of adds to it where he bitched and moaned and got his way. So the agent, who is the same agent of Cliff Kingsbury, and the Cardinals GM Steve Keim also is the agent of Kyler Murray, and he got all three guys paid this offseason.
Well,
so good for him.
What should the Cardinals have done though?
They didn't need to pay him. So
okay.
I wouldn't have paid
They're
him.
just going to wait for another quarterback to come around?
No, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying the same situation that the Ravens are in with Lamar Jackson. I would just say we're going to wait another season.
Okay.
But I would not have paid Kyler Murray right now.
Okay.
And Lamar Jackson is going into a lame duck year.
Well, couldn't you make the case though that as these other quarterbacks are possibly going to getting these big extensions? I mean, by the time that this contract kicks in, so he's got 2 more years left on his rookie deal, if I'm not mistaken here. He's going to be making just under $1 million this year because he's making a ton with a signing bonus. So really, his base salary is less than $1 million this year. Next season, it's going to be just about $8 million is what he's going to be making next year. And then in 2024, that's when the contract really kicks in. And that's when you start paying him the yearly amount that you're supposed to pay him, which is going to be like an average of $43 million. Of course, he's got that out in 2028. But I mean, if you're the Cardinals and you're in this situation, don't you want to just pay him as soon as you possibly can because other quarterbacks are going to get paid and he could expect more money? I mean, by the time that his contract really kicks in, then it's not going to be looking like a great deal, but you aren't going to be having the guy who's going to be one of your top 5 highest paid quarterbacks. Like, things are going to change by the time his contract kicks in. So I like, to me, man, it felt like the Cardinals were in the same type of situation with the Raiders, where it's just like, all right, well, you know what? I mean, what are we going to do? Not pay him? All right, fine. Then it's just going to be all downhill from here. Like Kyler Murray, I don't think he's overrated. Like Ernie's saying here is Calamari's overrated. I don't think he's overrated.
I love Calamari.
I think he's a fantastic talent, and you got to give him, I think, a season along with the playoffs, along with DeAndre Hopkins to see what he can really do. But I think he's the type of quarterback that you could build your team around. And, there's only a select few who can do what he does. Like, this dude is very talented. And I think that he can change. Why are we not giving him the same leeway that, I don't know, Josh Allen got, for example? Josh Allen didn't look like an NFL quarterback his first couple of seasons. And now these past 2 years leading up to his rookie contract, he looked fantastic. Kyler Murray has shown potential since his rookie year.
Yes, but would you say that Josh Allen is arguably maybe in the conversation for best quarterback in football right now, next to Patrick Mahomes?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. Would you say that Kyler Murray is?
No.
I understand your argument. I completely do. But I just don't think he's earned this yet. To get the second most money annually, I understand that's just, stats and whatnot. But to other guys in the league, that's a big deal. Right. Lamar Jackson is going to want a shit ton of money now.
Yeah.
And there's an argument to be made. I go back and forth with this all the time. I think Lamar Jackson's a fantastic athlete, but I still think there's some aspects of his game that he needs to improve as a quarterback. Does he deserve to get paid? Yes. But, I mean, he's definitely should make more money than Kyler Murray. He's accomplished more in this league.
Huh.
So, I don't know. You're completely right that things change year to year. More guys will get more money, and then it won't even matter. But I just have an issue with the way that it was handled. I don't like the scrubbing of the social media. I just don't like
and let me just say this too. I did say this is my immediate reaction at the 5 a.m. show. It just does not feel like this is going to end well. Like, it doesn't feel that way.
Who?
With Kyler Murray and the Cardinals and this whole, the way that it started out and what you're talking about right now, exactly what you're talking about, the way that he complained, the way that he walked off the field after that playoff game, just all these reports coming out about the friction between him and the Cardinals, just something doesn't seem right with the combination of him as the quarterback and Cliff Kingsbury as the head coach. It just doesn't strike me as a team that is going to be winning the Super Bowl, even with this contract for Kyler Murray. I do think there's something fishy going on for sure.
Yeah, and right now I would rank them as the third best team in the NFC West. So And there's another thing too, where I know they got Marquise Brown, but they're going to be without DeAndre Hopkins for 6 weeks.
Yep.
When you make this move, this is telling me that this is your franchise guy. Unless, you're the Rams and you sign Jared Goff to that big ass contract, and then you're like, well, fuck, we, fucked up here.
Yeah.
So
no, that's the worst case scenario for sure.
Exactly. Now, how it relates to the Niners.
Well, real quick. Whoa. Moving on to the 49ers. I just want to mention something. We are going hard at the A's, including Steve Keim, for the spending that's going on and how.
Yeah, I was going to bring that up.
Yeah, right, but the $46.1 million that he's going to be making on average compared to the $48.5 that the A's are spending on the team payroll now. Number one, the A's aren't going to be. The A's might be spending more in the next couple of seasons. Who knows? But I want to wait for 2 years down the line when he actually starts making the money that from this contract till we start making those comparisons. That's number one. But why can't we be looking at the rest of, I don't know, his team to make a comparison for how much he'd be getting paid yearly compared to how much they're paying, I don't know, the entire offensive line right now? Like the entire offensive line in 2022 is going to be making, let me just double check and make sure I got my money right here. Oh, no, it's not the offensive line. Their wide receivers are going to be making $31 million in total, and that's it. Their offensive line is going to be making 54. That's 5 guys. Their D-line is going to be, in total, they're spending $28 million on their D-line. So I think we need to focus more on, like, the actual team spending as opposed to just comparing and contrasting what they're doing with the A's. I don't know. I just feel like the A's were taking unnecessary bullets after this little contract went down.
I hear you, and I did not like Steve Keim's comment because Kyler Murray was straight up asked, any interest in going back to baseball, or does this end things for baseball? And he laughed and dodged the question, and then Steve Keim said, you see what the A's payroll is? Worry about your own goddamn team, Steve. I'm like, I get it. It's an easy shot to take, but as one professional GM to another, keep your mouth shut. That's just rude.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I guess you could do that with like all quarterbacks compared or relative to their teams, but this is just one number where it's like, oh, the A's payroll, Kyler Murray going to the A's. I guess it's just something that somebody had to bring up, but you could,
because
that in a variety of ways.
Yes, because of the link of Kyler Murray to the A's and the fact that he makes $2 million less than what the whole team makes. That is a funny thing to bring up.
Yes. It's just, you could, it's like I said at the end, you could slice it in any way you want to. It's the same thing as you want to compare it to the 49ers here and lead it to the 49ers. It's kind of like when talking about Jimmy Garoppolo's win-loss record. Well, you could slice that any way you want to in terms of win-loss record with specific players. So, I just think that's just one thing we do in sports, I guess. I just didn't care for it too much. I was just like, oh, well, you could do that with anybody.
Look at you, becoming an A's fan again.
Not really.
All right.
I don't even know any of the players on there. Like, who's this? Makia?
Dude, I have not been paying attention to the A's for the longest time. And
matcha? Is that the dessert?
Matcha?
I don't know. There's
matzah?
I don't know. There's matzo ball soup. There's some player on the A's who I saw I get an RBI yesterday. I'm like, who the hell is that?
I couldn't even tell you who's on the team anymore. It's just a sad state of affairs. But what I was going to say with the 49ers in relation to Kyler Murray's contract is that the number 1 overall pick of the 2019 draft gets paid. So now the Niners have to look to signing the 2nd overall pick of the 2019 draft in Nick Bosa.
Oh,
both guys are going to be linked up playing against each other for the foreseeable future.
Yes.
And I like the 49ers as a team way better than the Cardinals going forward. So lock up Nick Bosa and make sure that he can, rush Kyler Murray.
That's it. Just get it done. Like more than anybody.
Well, yeah. I mean, I wouldn't pay him more than Aaron Donald, but you may have to give him the 2nd most money as a defensive end in this league.
You're going to have to. Yeah. That's just it. You're going to have to. You're going to have to bite that bullet. That's what happens, though, when you...
But what does that mean for Debo?
I don't know. But that's what happens when you draft a player of that caliber with the number 2 overall pick. You're going to have some consequences surrounding it. It's a tough decision to make, but I don't think it's really one with Nick Bosa and what he's shown. Like, if he was... I don't know. Let's say he had this similar career that... oh, my God. Let me think of like an edge rusher right now taken in the same class. Like, I don't know, Brian Burns, for example, from the Panthers. Like, that'd be a tough one. If Brian Burns were in Nick Bosa's shoes and we'd be like, oh, we have to pay Brian Burns this second most amount of money that a defensive player has in the league, then I think you could be like, I'm a little hesitant with that. But I think Nick Bosa is way more, I think he's way too talented to just let go just based on money. You know, we've seen what happens when certain teams do that and let a edge rusher go. And, you know, it's hard to find a good one. Hard to find a great pass rusher.
Yeah, but you got 2 good ones now.
God, I stumbled through that. That was fucking terrible.
You should just done the voice.
Yeah, I know. My bad. I'm not gonna do it. I'm not doing it. I did it once. I'm not gonna lie.
You did it last week or 2 weeks ago.
Did I?
Yeah. Shit. It's fine to make the voice. Just don't repeat what he said in the email.
I am like the Tom Brady of impressionists. I say I'm gonna retire it, and then all of a sudden I bring it back up a few weeks later.
I know. There'll be some grainy footage of Frank Caliendo in some sleazy nightclub doing John Gruden impressions. You watch.
One day, yeah.
So we're talking about the 49ers going to camp on Tuesday. Steven will be there in Santa Clara on Wednesday for his show with Butcher Boy.
Yes.
And the Raiders are already in camp. And you and I were going back and forth on Twitter. It's just, you know, it's funny that the Raiders get a great player like Davante Adams, and they show all the highlights of him at training camp running through the routes and everything. And immediately your thought is it looks like Denarius Moore. Like, you go back to the old wide receivers.
Yeah, you can't help it.
But he's better than that. He's like, who else was your comparison? It was it was guys wearing the jersey numbers in the background.
It wasn't comparisons. It's just like, hey, these guys are wearing 1784.
Yes, it was the visual of the jersey number. I know what you're saying.
Yes, so I couldn't help but think of those guys. But you know what's funny is in my reply to you, I'm like, I don't know who number 10 is. Turns out
on the team, Matt Collins.
Yeah, it turns out that he's been making some waves in training camp. Darren Waller said he's like a top 5 funniest guy that he's ever met. I'm all about the funny guys. So if Matt Collins is funny, earns a spot on my team. I can't
wait during the season if he drops a critical pass and you're like, yeah, he's funny.
Yeah, I know, right? That's exactly how it was. I mean, that's how it was with the Giants when, oh God, Derek Holland was on the team, and then he did something.
His Kermit impressions.
Yeah, but then he did something slightly racist on video, so I was kind of done with that.
Oh, I forgot about that. Yeah,
he did that right in Oracle Park. It was a bad look.
Yeah, I
was like, oof.
But yeah, the Raiders have been taking the field, and yeah, man, they have expectations. Even though Derek Carr doesn't want you to think they do. It's funny to me, like, you know, Rich Eisen has been going on his show and saying that he expects the Raiders to win the AFC West. He went through every game in the schedule and picked wins or losses. Colin Cowherd goes on his show and he says the Raiders will be very good, but he thinks they're going to be a 4th place team in that division. I don't know about that. But I understand that Derek Carr has to motivate his team. So he's been saying recently that everyone thinks that we're not going to be good this year. And that's just plain false. With the expectations of getting Davante Adams and Chandler Jones, everyone expects that team to be good. The question everybody has is Derek Carr going to be good? That's where I think that he's trying to motivate himself and the team by saying everyone doesn't think we're going to be good this season. And you saw it happen a couple days ago. I mean, the Mohawk has changed him, Steven. Do we have the do you have the
let me pull it up. Hang on. Let me get that.
This was interesting to me because you and I know Derek Carr. I mean, you do the impression. Oh man, he's always. No.
Did you see it though? He finally he brings it up in this clip. I need to pull it up. Where he
brought up the old man.
No, he didn't bring up old man. He brought up my favorite thing, which is the new thing that he's doing, which he says, "You know what I mean?"
Oh, he referenced that.
Yeah, and you know what I mean. He says that. He said that in this clip.
He said it in the clip. Okay.
I got to find it. Hang on. Oh my God. I can't believe I don't have it saved. 1 second. All right. Let me.
I'll filibuster like Chris Berman during the home run derby pregame. Did you see that?
Please do. I need that.
They asked Chris Berman, so what do you think of the young guys? I mean, he was talking about Albert Pujols and the guys that he knew in the home run derby. I guess Chris Berman was just there because he's the king of, you know, back for the home run derby. But they asked him, "What do you think of the young guys in the home run derby?" And he just goes, "Oh, I don't really watch a lot of the new baseball these days. Let me tell you a story about Albert Pujols," and just went off to something else. It was extremely uncomfortable. Just say you don't watch baseball, Chris.
Oh my God! All right, you did enough. You did enough filibustering there with that terrific Chris Berman impression. So, hats off to you for that. But the pull-up king strikes again here. So that's a new nickname, dude. That's something.
The pull-up king.
The pull-up king, yeah.
God, look at him. He's changed. Look, this haircut has changed him. All right, you'll see. Right? Everyone that hasn't seen this clip yet, look at Derek Carr now.
Cut the sleeves a little thinner too. He really went in on the seam. All right,
the boobs are coming out.
And that's honestly how I feel. I just got to be more honest. I just got to start speaking my mind. And as I'm getting older, I just say what I want to say, And so my real answer is the expectation, all that kind of stuff. Who says it? Honestly, it doesn't matter. It really doesn't. Whether they don't say anything or they say a lot, nobody cares. Hopefully they talk about us at the end. You know what I mean? But right now, that crap don't matter.
Doesn't matter, Derek. Why do you talk about him?
Thank you, Paul. It's so good to see you. I say it because I'm a positive person, and I try and I try and encourage my teammates. There's a way that I say things to encourage my locker room, to maybe put a chip on their shoulder, and sometimes I do it too much, and so I don't appreciate your tone either. You can pump that back a little bit.
Woo!
Oh,
yeah. He also said the word crap.
Yeah, he did.
Wow. Wow. He said the C word, crap. You know what I mean?
Okay.
You know what I mean?
I get what Derek is doing there. He, in recent years, has been kind of pushing back on some of the media members that cover the Raiders.
Yeah.
And he pushed back on Stephen A. Smith a couple years ago when he was calling him out on First Take. I know Paul Gutierrez, very nice guy.
Yeah.
Obviously husband to Amy Gutierrez, who covered the Giants for numerous seasons. I don't think Paul did anything wrong here. And maybe this is just me changing and getting older. Like, you know me, Steven, back in the day, I'd be like, yeah, fuck the media. You tell him, Derek. But I get what Derek is doing. He's got to motivate the guys because there's a ton of expectations this season, and he wants to downplay it. So the guys have a chip on their shoulder, exactly what he said. And I'm sure, taking a cue from Davante Adams and what his approach has been with the Green Bay Packers and Aaron Rodgers all those seasons. Also, thought it was interesting that Davante Adams said, when you go from one Hall of Fame quarterback to another Hall of Fame quarterback, it's an easy transition. Whoa.
Well, yeah, but he clarified that today.
Oh, did he? What did he say?
Well, he tried to clarify it. He basically said, I'm not talking about Derek specifically. I'm just talking about Hall of Famers in general. So
yeah,
Aaron Rodgers is a Hall of Famer, but going from one Hall of Famer to another Hall of Famer, I'm just proving to you how tough it is. I'm not calling Derek a Hall of Famer.
Well, yeah, you are. That's what that means when you say going from one Hall of Famer to another.
You know what? I'm going to pull it up just so I can,
regardless.
Well,
before you do, let me just finish this thought real quick about the interaction between Derek and Paul.
Please do.
I understand what Derek is doing, and I understand what Paul was saying, but I don't think Paul was being rude. I think he was just saying, Derek, you do this a lot. Right. You do bring up the fact that you keep saying no one believes in you. And the fact is, you got guys like Rich Eisen and a lot of people across the country picking the Raiders as a Super Bowl contender. And the part that gets kind of muffled in the audio is Derek Carr saying it's a positive, and then Paul says it's not.
I don't know. You want me to pull it back up?
Yeah, we get in the middle of there. But I don't think that Paul was being rude. I don't know. What do you think, Steven?
I think this stemmed from maybe just, look at, I'm going to play the full thing again.
Okay.
Look at just how much he despises. Oh my gosh, I'm just clicking things all over the place. The pull-up king is not being, this is really pulling things down here, like the show, pulling the podcast down. All right, sorry.
Listen to the part where Derek says it's a positive. I think Paul says it's a negative, or he says it's not a positive. I think that's what may piss off Derek.
All right, just look at the eyes though when he sees Paul too. I want to focus. You need to focus on two things. So focus on the eyes and how just dismissive he is of Paul Gutierrez, but also what Derek's talking about.
All right, that's honestly how I feel. I just got to be more honest. I just got to start speaking my mind, and as I'm getting older, I just say what I want to say, And so my real answer is the expectation, all that kind of stuff. Who says it? Honestly, it doesn't matter. It really doesn't. Whether they don't say anything or they say a lot. Nobody cares. Hopefully they talk about us at the end. You know what I mean? Like,
you know what I mean?
Now, that crap don't matter.
It doesn't matter, Derek. Why do you talk about it? Why do you?
Thank you, Paul. It's so good to see you. I say it because I'm a positive person, and I try and I try and encourage my teammates. There's a way that I say things to encourage my locker room to maybe put a chip on their shoulder.
Actually, yeah, you heard that in the middle where someone in the background just goes, "It's not though."
Yes. Is that Paul saying that? Because if that's the case, I could see why Derek turns into little Aaron Rodgers there by being like, "Hey, shut your mouth."
Like, yeah, that's why he goes. It's not though. So it must have stemmed from something. Because oh my God, Paul, it is so good to see. But also, I think that from that, like guys are just naturally nice people. I think Derek Carr is one of those guys. Nice people aren't good at being dicks. I've tried to be a dick. I'm not good at being a dick to people.
No, you're a wonderful dick bag.
I'm one of those. I'm not a very straightforward asshole. I'm more of like a low key asshole where it's just I say something and it's very passive aggressive.
I've noticed.
Yeah. But
Titans.
When you're
Titans.
Well, look, that's not passive aggressive. That's just me telling you you're pronouncing it wrong.
Whatever. Keep going, Steven.
I think that's as straightforward as I've been with you on this podcast.
I know.
Like, I don't know, maybe me making fun of, the two treadmills in the background is like a passive aggressive way of saying like, hey, you might be a silly serial killer with two treadmills in your apartment.
I don't remember that being a thing in American Psycho with two treadmills, but okay.
He had two treadmills. Dude, I'm loving this though. If Derek is going to try and be a dick, like I like it, man. Like, but it's just, if this is going to be the way you're going to do it, I've seen him on the field. Like I've seen him kind of when he's mic'd up and stuff, he talks a little trash. He doesn't go like directly at somebody, but like
he's not Phillip Rivers.
When other players, exactly. But when he gets into arguments with other players, he's up there like, dude, don't talk to him, man. Nobody knows who he is. No, he doesn't matter. Like, don't worry about him. That kind of thing. So I don't know. I like this new version of Derek so far, and I get it, man. I don't know. I mean, I can't imagine being an athlete having to deal with these media reporters, man. Sometimes I could see it getting real frustrating. You know what I mean?
I know what you mean, and I think maybe I'm just getting older because back in the day I would have been like, yeah, Derek, tell him, but. There's a part of me that's also just like maybe because I know Paul, but I'm just like, Derek, it's Paul. Calm down.
How dare you, Paul? How dare you, Derek?
I know.
Don't call out Paul like that. I don't know.
If it was there's one guy on the Raiders beat that Derek can't stand. I can't think of his name right now. He like blocks him on Twitter. I want to say Associated Press.
Huh. Oh, is it Josh Dubow?
Yes. He hates him, doesn't he?
I feel like a lot of athletes would.
I don't know Josh Dubow that well, but it's not a Javon Kinlaw or Grant Cohn thing. But
no, but like Josh Dubow just brings up these ancillary stats where it's sometimes like, okay, I know you're bringing up the context here, but that doesn't speak to who they are as a player right now. He's a big stats guy, Josh Dubow is. So it's sometimes, maybe, and also it can be a little dose of truth, and truth hurts with these dudes. You know? So I mean, when Josh Dubow does that, maybe it's like, all right, you're showing these numbers on paper here. You're making me look a lot worse than I actually am. But at the same time, maybe I am that bad. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I know what you mean. And if Derek Carr, if he starts to push back a little bit and be honest with the media and he plays better, then by all means, sir, there might be a lot of pressure on him. Obviously, this is a make or break season for him. He's got to ball out with Davante Adams and this whole loaded offense. So I'm not saying he's getting nervous or anything, but I'm sure he's just downplaying things because he knows there's a lot riding on him this season. So I don't think that he was necessarily right for calling out Paul like that. But then again, Paul probably shouldn't have said yes, it is. It's a negative or whatever he said. So I hope both guys kiss and make up by next time we see them at a press conference.
Yeah, maybe there's going to be like some sort of apology, knowing how Derek Carr is.
Yeah, that could be the case too.
What was it? You ever seen Blue Mountain State?
Here and there.
There was the guy named Thad, a linebacker on the team, star linebacker.
So Thad.
He's hilarious, but he's also a dick. And
is this the guy, the big dude that's in the Ninja Turtles?
Yes. And he
or
yells a lot.
What's that new show? Jack Reacher.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, that guy. He yells a lot in Blue Mountain State. Like he screams at everybody. And there was one episode where he went on like it wasn't a vision quest, but he turned into like this Buddha type, this Buddhist type who's like just super calm and doesn't get bothered by anyone or anything. And he's just so relaxed. And then at the end, there's something that triggers him where he just yells at everybody. And it's just legendary. It just feels like Derek Carr has reached that point where he's been in this zen this whole time. And there's that one little thing that sets him off. And it's Paul Gutierrez.
Well, we saw it earlier this year. When you are portrayed as a nice guy, not you, but like when people have been portrayed as a nice guy and someone disrespects you, you snap. Case in point, Will Smith.
Yeah.
So not to say that Derek Carr snapped and slapped Paul Gutierrez. We're not saying that.
Yeah.
It's just that it's the first time I've ever like seen him go after another reporter to that degree. Like it wasn't rude. It was just like, watch your tone. And that's fair, maybe. But I will say this, if you have the other clip, it was nothing compared to Nick Castellanos. Good Lord. I don't know who this reporter is, but he was extremely rude.
The reporter, my favorite part about this, and this is from Jamie, I want to get this name correctly here before
Salisbury
we go to it. No, Jamie Apodi is his name.
Oh, the guy that tweeted it out. Yes.
Who got the video. Yeah, he's an ABC anchor over in Philadelphia. So he's the one that got the video. I don't know who it was who he was having this exchange with, but yeah, Nick Castellanos. Let me share this here. The pull-up king.
Castellanos with the home run, saving my career. Please, Tom Brenneman.
Yeah, that'd be so funny if it's like all of a sudden it's like there's a drive deep to the Castellanos. Anyway, all right, here we go.
Did you hear the blues there when you struck out and they playing the game there?
No, man, I lost my hearing.
So you didn't hear it.
Come on, man, that's a stupid question.
Why is that a stupid question?
Can anybody else answer that for him? Anybody? Yeah, man, that's a stupid question.
It's not a stupid question. If it's a stupid question, you should be equipped to answer it.
I did answer it.
All right. The answer should be able to handle a stupid question.
We got the answers.
That doesn't mean that I can't say that's a stupid question.
It wasn't a stupid question. It's a legit question.
If I heard the booth, is that's a rhetorical question? Of course, it's a stupid
You had a
question.
bonus.
That's a stupid
We
question.
got the answer. We're good. Thanks, guys, for
Then you should be able to handle a stupid question.
I did.
Okay. First off,
He points at him.
I know.
Oh, hang on. Oh. We're good.
Okay. First off, did you hear the booze is not a rhetorical question, Nick Castellanos? But it is a stupid question. You are correct. He heard the booze. The better answer or question would have been, what was your reaction to hearing the booze?
Right.
Did you hear the booze? Yes, they were loud. It's Philadelphia. He heard the booze. For then this, and I love East Coast media members, he gets pissed. This like, what the hell? He's like, it's not a stupid question. Well, if it's a stupid question, then you should be man enough to answer my fucking question. And gets in his face. Nick Castellanos should have just decked this guy. Not, and I'm not condoning that, but what I'm saying is that
Yeah, you are. You just straight up said he should have decked him.
as much as you said Rob Manfred should have acid thrown in his face.
Oh my god!
I'm not condoning violence, but Nick Castellanos should lay this fucking guy out. No, what
Yeah.
I'm saying is that this reporter, like, dude, chill out. He like gets in his face. It's like you should answer my dumb questions then. What kind of justification is that? And I think we're getting a pushback from old school media members, like the Bills guy that didn't like Micah Hyde and Jordan Poyer getting all butthurt about his question to them. He went on Twitter and then said, back in my day, players answered questions when I asked them.
Yeah.
I think we're getting a lot of old school guys just being like, I asked you a question, I expect you to answer it. If you're not going to answer it, then you're soft. And I don't know. I mean, like, obviously that's a Philadelphia Phillies beat writer who gets mad about that. That's like, if that was like, have you ever seen the old school Bobby Bonilla clips where the guy's like, make your move?
Right.
He's like, wants to fight him.
Yes.
Like, that reporter was way out of line. Like, if we're comparing Paul Gutierrez to this guy, like, this guy was rude. This guy was being an asshole.
Yeah, totally. And he pointed at him. If you watch the video, he straight pointed at him.
If it's a dumb question, you should be equipped to answer it.
Yeah.
If you're asking a dumb question, then you should be equipped as a media member to ask a better question.
Yeah. He also needs to learn how to wear a mask correctly. I'm so like, if you're gonna wear a mask, do it right. Like, put it over your nose.
Chin diaper.
Yeah, seriously.
By the way, it's official. The Dodgers swept the Giants in 4 games. We'll get to that a little later.
Yeah, can't wait to talk about that tomorrow. God, Mookie Betts and Trey Turner just destroyed him this week. Reporters going after athletes like that, we really are coming to the point where there needs to be some give and take. And whenever they say back in my day, players didn't do this, I don't really buy into all of that. Like, we've seen players go at reporters before, but when you ask a question like that, like a yes or no question, I mean, you're bound to get an answer like that one. Like, I mean, Castellanos could have easily just been like, yes, but clearly the reporter, and I think this is an issue with a lot of what goes on, is, and I go back to the guy from Bleacher Report who asked Draymond about like the what was it with him and Draymond?
Yeah. He asked if the podcast gives away X's and O's for the preparation of the Boston Celtics.
Yeah. Well, it was all because he had an article that was written out, like an extensive article about his podcast and how he heard from sources. So he needed that Draymond sound clip in order to really complete it, like to put the final touches. That was going to be the cherry on top of the ice cream sundae that was that article.
Ooh, that sounds nice.
It's the same thing with this, I think. Like, this guy clearly is going to write an article about Nick Castellanos. Like, was he getting booed by his own fans? I actually need context for this.
I don't know, actually, but
well, that's probably on us to actually get the context. Like, was he being booed by his own crowd?
Is Nick Castellanos having a not so great season?
He is not. He wasn't even an all-star this year.
And you wanted him on the Giants.
Yeah, I know I did. Let me see here.
I'm just waiting for Tom Brenneman to tweet out, I support you, Nick Castellanos.
I know, right? And let me see here. Booed by many in the crowd. And I'm gonna so we're doing live digging here. Phillies
live digging, baby. Digging up those holes, digging it.
It was the Philadelphia crowd that had booed him.
Yeah.
So clearly there was going to be some sort of article written about Castellanos' poor season, and this writer, maybe he had some sort of deadline that he needed to reach when he was going to write this article or something. I don't know how it works, but I think this stems from like a hidden agenda. That's it. That's just it.
It could be, but also I think that media members also just don't like being told that their question was stupid. Like, he probably prides himself as a longtime journalist, and for an athlete to tell him that's a dumb question probably pisses him off. At the same time, you should expect that. I think media members should expect when a guy loses and is not playing great, you're going to get a little chippiness sometimes. Mm-hmm. So if you ask a yes or no question and he tells you that's a dumb question, then just let it be. It doesn't need to be a pissing contest between a older gentleman and Nick Castellanos, who, how old is Nick Castellanos, in his 20s?
29, if I'm not mistaken.
It's that was silly.
Well, also, dude, play the victim. If you're the reporter, play the victim. Make him the dick. You know what I mean? Like, just
you know what I mean? Kind of did.
Well, no, but he's just like, you didn't answer my question. Instead, he could have just been like, okay, like, and just kind of step back and be like,
do the my favorite is when Ray Ratto asks questions to Greg Popovich, and Greg Popovich gives him a snide response, and Ratto goes, okay. Yeah. You made your point. You made your point. You can shut up now.
Yeah. Just say, all right. Yeah. All right. Fine. Whatever. Okay. Cool.
So you wanted Nick Castellanos.
Mm-hmm.
Can I interest you in a Juan Soto for the Giants?
You like this ticker that's going across the bottom of our screen?
I do. Should I stay or should I Soto? Well done, Steven.
Thank you. I'll be here all week. No, I won't. What was I gonna do? Soto. I'm very proud of that.
You were so proud of that joke.
Yeah. Juan Soto, it just seems like such a pipe dream now. I've gone so back and forth. Like, of course, I do want Juan Soto. And the price that I saw from MLB.com when they made like their 7 trade proposals, even though they more than likely are going to be inaccurate and, something different can happen, because really it really focused on just the Giants acquiring Juan Soto and then them trading away these certain players and prospects. You never know. Like, another player could be thrown into to sweeten the deal with the Nationals. It's like, hey, you give us Patrick Corbin and Juan Soto, then we'll give you the X amount of players. But I think that he'd be worth it. Of course, I want to see that. I don't really know if it's going to happen or not, because you have to take everything into account. Does he want to win this year? Is he just looking for money in a team that's willing to pay him, which I think the Giants are well equipped to do, because they don't have to pay anybody through 2020 or after 2024, besides Anthony DeSclafani. Does he want to be the lone guy that's being paid? Does he want to go to a park where he's going to hit a lot of home runs? Like, does he want to be that next guy that takes over for the house that Barry Bonds built? Or, there's so many factors that play into it. I want him here. I want him in San Francisco, no matter what it takes. But, not no matter what it takes. There is a line that you have to draw. I just don't think it's going to happen.
Why do you say that?
Because other teams have players who are younger and ready now as far as playing in the major leagues. Like, the Giants have a lot of prospects who could be good. Marco Luciano could be very good. Luis Matos, Kyle Harrison, Elliot Ramos, a lot of these guys. Elliot Ramos is the only guy you've seen with some major league time. But those other guys, you haven't seen them higher than AA. Like they haven't even been to AAA yet. You don't even know what they look like in a Sacramento Rivercats uniform. Whereas these other teams, they seem to have younger players who still have some years left of service for their teams that are more major league ready. So I don't know. You throw in Logan Webb, you probably have to in that trade.
I've heard a lot of people say he's the one guy you say no.
Huh. Well, if it nets you Juan Soto, though, like, are you really?
Is it worth it?
If that's the breaking point right there, then yeah, I'd think it's worth it. You'd be setting yourself back, though. I would say, like I told you, like, hey, if Logan Webb's in there, all right, throw me a pitcher. We're not just getting Juan Soto. We got to at least get another starting pitching back. Can't just say, let's trade away 2 of our guys who are expected to be the starters on this team for a very long time. Like, Kyle Harrison is basically going to replace Carlos Rodon. That's what's going to happen. By the way, super random. Actually, you know what? Give me your thoughts on the Nationals and Juan Soto and where you think this is going to go with the Giants, because I did have just a random thought as I was watching the Giants game today. So what do you think?
Well, currently, as I'm watching Giants postgame, I'm seeing Logan Webb's comments to Susan Slusser about possibly acquiring Juan Soto. He said it would be cool to go and get a guy like that because I know that would fire up the clubhouse. And it seems like he wants to go somewhere else. And I know that he might want to come here. I haven't heard it personally, but I heard rumors that he likes this team.
Not to knock Giants post game, by the way, but man, if you're talking about trades after a 4-game series with the Dodgers and all you could talk about is trades, like, that just shows where the team's at.
Yeah. It's also the Sunday crew doing the post game today.
Yes.
But I wouldn't want to be part of the trade that gets him. So, yeah, that makes sense. My thoughts on it is, well, this is not just coming out of thin air. If Bob Nightingale, sometimes right, sometimes wrong, but he listed about 7 teams that are interested in Juan Soto, and 3 of which were NL West teams: Giants, Dodgers, Padres. I've heard the Padres are the team that really wants to get him. I don't know what they would have to offer up because currently they're a great team.
Yeah.
So if you're going to gut the team that's good right now, I don't think that's a very smart move. You hear the Yankees are interested, but they have a good team right now. You have the Mets, who are in the same division. There's just a shit ton of teams interested in Juan Soto. It's basically like Kevin Durant.
As we were doing this podcast too, John Heyman of the New York Post said that said that the Cardinals are the
Interested?
team to watch. Yeah, actually, I got to add that they are a team to watch. So I got my worst trade deadline expressions on here. So I got expressed interest, are keeping an eye on, and now this is a good one. Oh, potential front runners. That's great.
Oh, that's a good one too. That's a good one too.
Really good one. All right, that's going to be a big thing tomorrow. I don't know. We could do that today if you want. That's just for tomorrow's show. Anyway, yeah.
Well, no. What I will say is that our good buddy John Morosi said that Giants are a team to look out for. That's another one to look out for.
Ooh, good one.
I'm helping you produce your own damn show.
At least I have a producer finally. I don't have one.
Also, who else? Jeff Passan. Jeff Passan said that the Giants are also a team to look out for.
Okay.
It's funny to me whenever stuff like this happens. I remember before I left to go to LA, it was always, are the Giants going to be on Giancarlo Stanton? Are they going to be in on Shohei Ohtani? Are they going to be in on Bryce Harper? And I always kind of roll my eyes because I just don't think Farhan's going to operate that way. And now that I've listened to Farhan every week on with Tolbert and Copes, I don't think he's going to do this, at least now. I don't think that it makes a lot of sense to get Juan Soto at the trade deadline. Susan Slusser reported a couple of days ago that she believes that this deal won't happen at the trade deadline. It's going to happen in the winter. Why are you smiling?
Just because you're all in on this Giants stuff now. You're talking about Farhan and what he said. You're talking about Susan Slusser. It's great. I'm loving
it.
Susan's great. Yeah.
She does a great job with the Giants, but to me, she's always the A's beat writer.
I know.
And I don't mean that disrespectfully, but she does a great job with the Giants too.
Yes.
But I just don't think it's going to happen, at least right now, because it's just such a massive trade to do at the deadline.
Yeah.
If anyone was going to do it, I guess it's the Padres. But like I said, they have a good team right now. What are they going to? I mean, if you're giving up prospects, then no harm, no foul in my book. I heard the other day, my pops had Kyle Harrison on, and it was funny. They were talking to him, and at the end, they didn't bring it up with him, but they were like, what if you got to trade him to get Juan Soto?
Yeah.
Not even like 2 seconds after he hangs up the phone. But that's the reality. And I was thinking also, you also have other potential moves you can make. What if you wait and you look to Aaron Judge, who has a lot of links to the Giants? You saw that awkward interview he did with the reporter,
Marley Rivera.
Yes. Why would she put him in that situation? There's this kid who wants to see you.
Hey, that was professionally done. That was a master class of how to ask that question. You bring in some kid who's from Peoria.
Yeah, but that answer wasn't good though. That answer wasn't good for Yankees fans.
That's what you want though. That's fantastic.
He made that kid cry.
Yeah.
Yeah. So basically, what's her name again? Sorry.
Marley Rivera.
She says there's a young boy who wants to know if we're going to see you in a Yankees jersey for the foreseeable future. And then Aaron Judge goes, kid, there's a lot of great Yankees you could see going forward and blah, blah, blah. Basically dancing around the question. Yeah. And I've heard him talk about, I guess it was a recent conversation that he had with somebody saying that he loves Dusty Baker. He used to watch him all the time, being a Giants fan growing up. So that's a potential guy you could get there too. Also, Trey Turner is a free agent in the offseason. I just think that, I don't know. Yes, it probably would be beneficial for the Giants to go after Juan Soto, but what's the point of doing it right now? You just got swept in 4 games by the Dodgers. You're not going to catch them in the NL West. What are your expectations now? Right. As a Giants fan, do you think they're going to win this season?
No.
Or even be a wild card team?
No. And it's more us being prisoners of the moment right now, because you're right. Free agency is the time to strike. I'd be far more dejected if losing out on someone in free agency as opposed to the deadline. Hang on, I'm sorry. I'm getting choked up. Oh God. Anyway, sorry. Just had to burp. Yeah, I had to burp. That was terrible.
All good.
Dude, went to just a little side note. Went to dinner last night, and We went to Original Joe's with Jessie and her mom and some of her mom's friends, and we were here in San Jose. And on the garlic bread, they put like 2 cloves of garlic on one little slice of garlic bread, and I ate the entire thing in 2 bites. My breath smelled terrible the entire day yesterday, and I just had a little garlic burp right there. So anyway, that's a side note. But I'd be far more dejected though if they didn't get it done in free agency, because in free agency you don't have anything to lose. Like, you aren't, as far as players on your roster go. So it's like you still have the same team, and yet you don't add somebody in free agency to make your team better. Like, at the deadline, at the very least, okay, you don't get Juan Soto, then you still have, the hopes of Luciano and Luis Matos and other guys who we haven't even heard of. Like, there's one guy, Yummy. Yeah, shout out to Joel. Oh, my guy. Yummy. Anyway, sorry, that's my friend.
Was that an Ace Ventura reference?
Yes. Yeah. Anyway, I'm sorry, I just got solely sidetracked.
Don't go in there. Woo!
God damn it. What was I saying? So
Juan Soto, you would rather miss out on getting him at the trade deadline than opposed to free agency.
And there are also other guys within this farm system who we don't know about, but they do. And, other teams know about these guys. Someone who, maybe the Giants are stashing there in the minor leagues. I'm talking about one guy named Von Brown, actually, from the high A team. If you know who that is. You seen Von Brown?
I have not.
All right. You know what? We're going to do it here.
Oh, you're pulling it up?
Oh, pull up King is back. All right, 1 second. Baseball reference. Okay. Von Brown, for example. And I think this guy, he basically, what's the word that I'm looking for here, Derek?
I wish I knew what you were describing.
Von Brown.
I'm just going to throw a word out there.
Yeah. He basically puts into perspective what Farhan is doing here. So if you look at these stats, all right, look from 2022 on. This dude's 24 years old. He has a mustache, by the way. 24, plays all throughout the outfield. And his time in high A low A to high A, 347, 329. He's also got 33 total stolen bases, 20 home runs, 59 RBIs. Like, that's the type of dude right there that a lot of people haven't heard of before, but he's been a stud just as much as any of these other guys have been studs within high A and single A and all that. So I don't know. I just think you don't run the risk of trading any of those dudes away, but if free agency comes around and you don't sign like a Judge or a Trey Turner and these other guys do, it's like, well, what are we really doing here?
Well, we had FP Santangelo co-host the show with Tolbert last Friday, and he said it was kind of crazy, but he's right. When Tolbert asked him, FP knows Juan Soto very well from covering the Nationals. He said that not only should the Giants go after Juan Soto, they should go after Aaron Judge. If you are going to compete with the Dodgers every year and they have a galaxy of stars, then you got to compete the same way. I don't know if Farhan's going to do business like that, but there is something to that. But I'm, after today, and the Giants are nowhere near close to the Dodgers, at what point are you more close to selling at the deadline as opposed to buying at the deadline? Because right now, what's their record? Are they 2 games above 500?
Yeah.
And, there's still an argument to be made. Right. I know a lot of guys, the common thing everybody brings up is the Braves last season. They were below 500 before the All-Star break, and then they went on to the World Series. But, you're going to bank on that?
Dude, I am glad you brought that up. Because I said at the beginning, when we started this whole trade deadline discussion, I said there was something else that I wanted to get to besides Juan Soto, and you kind of led me to it. But watching the Giants game today, and I think this was one of those facts where it's like you had it, but also you didn't really remember, and then it was rehashed by Dave Fleming, and I was kind of, oh yeah, I totally forgot about that and didn't think to even make it into a point here with this trade deadline. I love Flem, but not the PHLEGM Flem, but the FLEM Flem.
Yeah, come on.
Yeah.
No one likes the PH phlegm.
No one likes the PH phlegm. It's all about the F phlegm.
All about the F.
But he said that Trey Turner and Carlos Rodon were roommates back in college. So I'm hearing all this stuff about how, Juan Soto is Trey Turner's best friend, and that Juan Soto was in the crowd for the Dodgers playoff game, and because he's Trey Turner's best friend. I mean, if the Dodgers, don't acquire Juan Soto, and if their names aren't on the front runner list like the Cardinals or the Padres, I mean, don't you think that Trey Turner's going to that clubhouse and saying, hey, we got to get my man out of San Francisco. He's going to help us in the playoffs. I don't know. I mean, Rodon has a player option at the end of this season. I wouldn't take it if I were him on this Giants team. I mean, come on, man.
No, and even Farhan said himself he doesn't expect him to.
So it's like, don't you think there's going to be something there? I would not be surprised if anything, we see Rodon dealt at the deadline, and maybe Jock Peterson too.
That'd be interesting. Both of the All-Stars for the Giants. That'd be
what
funny.
What could that do to help you? Probably nothing. Maybe you get a couple of prospects here and there, but you wouldn't be sacrificing a ton of other guys in order to get Soto, and you could be getting someone else to help you in the future. People just don't like being like Giants fans. We don't know how to act when it comes to this sort of thing. We do have to be patient. It's really tough, man. It's one of the hardest things to do in sports is be patient.
Do you think Juan Soto will be dealt to the deadline?
Man, I don't know.
I'm going to say no.
Interesting. Yeah,
I just don't think it's going to be. It's going to be a massive trade. Buster Olney keeps referring to it as the Babe Ruth of trades.
Right.
Well, the biggest trade since Babe Ruth.
Right. I saw Herschel Walker's name being thrown in there too.
Well, Herschel Walker's up to crazy things these days, but yes.
Well, yeah, but we don't need to bring that up.
No, it was there.
Lord, he's the worst, isn't he? He really is.
He's the best trade ever. Dallas Cowboys.
Craziest trade ever. Yeah.
Craziest trade. And that was done at the deadline for the NFL. It's just, and it probably will happen, but I mean, if the Dodgers get him, what are they going to give up? Like, you're bringing up Trey Turner's like, we need to get this guy. Who's the GM of the Dodgers?
Oh God, I think it's Friedman, Andrew Friedman, isn't he?
Yeah, Andrew Friedman. I wouldn't be surprised if Andrew Friedman's like, all right, Trey, you're a free agent next season. You're part of the deal.
Brandon Gomes is the wait, what? The hell? Hang on. Am I wrong?
Is Andrew Friedman the kind of like the Farhan, the CEO player of baseball operations?
Hang on. No. Hang on. Sorry. Hang on. I put it. Yeah, it is Andrew Friedman. The hell? I type in GM and it pulls up Brandon Gomes. From Fall River, Massachusetts. Fall River. Yeah.
Steven? Yeah, Steven froze. Wonderful comeback. Well, I don't know about what's going to happen with Juan Soto. And I just don't think that the Giants are going to make a move like that at the deadline. We'll see in free agency. I think they have other options. I think they're more likely to get like Aaron Judge. But yeah, I don't see that happening for the Giants. But I understand. Yeah, what happened to Nice Guy, Ernie? This is weird. Well, hopefully he comes back. Oh, Nice Guy's back.
Wait, which one? No.
Hold on, you should have left that. It's like a Scooby-Doo thing. Like, wait a minute, man. There's me at the bottom, but who's that? Some imposter.
Do I have two of me up there right now?
Yeah, you do. The frozen you is still there.
Nice.
It's crazy. Here, I'm getting rid of him.
No, we're going. No, what the hell are you doing?
All right, fine. Well, let's have a black screen of Alice from the Brady Bunch in the middle.
Okay. Where was I?
Finish your point about Juan Soto. Well, I was just saying, like with Trey Turner, if he's wanting to get Juan Soto so bad, he would be part of the deal probably too. Like the Dodgers, like to me, the good teams just can't offer prospects. If I was the Nationals, I'm like, that's not good enough for me. The Giants, yes. But if you're the Mets or the Yankees or the Padres or the Dodgers, I want some of your good players right now, damn it.
For sure. But they also said that they want some guys who they can eventually play in the future. and there was a thing about service time and all this coming out, some new updates. But I do think that you make a good point, because I think the same thing when it happens with Kevin Durant and these types of trades. They're saying that, oh, they're going to go to this team, they're going to go to that team. I'm like, okay, but who are you going to trade? Well, we're going to trade our younger guys. We're going to give them a couple of these guys and a couple of these guys. But it's like, if you're the team that is going to trade this dude, won't you want as many stars as you possibly can? Like,
Exactly.
if you want 4 or 5 young players, like that's what they're looking for, 4 or 5 players who are major league ready and who have little service time with their major league team, so they could be as cheap as possible with these dudes. Like, that's why you think that prospects are going to be the number one, and why the Dodgers, their farm system's good. So you think the Dodgers are going to be involved. But if I'm the GM of the Nationals, I'm thinking, okay, well, if the Dodgers are going to be offering me prospects, you know what? I'm going to look to another team who's going to offering me players who they have on their major league roster right now,
Exactly.
who only have like a year or two of service time so far, and have yet to hit arbitration and all those things, so I don't have to pay them these massive deals. Like, I just don't get that. Like, why do we always assume that, oh, they're just going to be okay with prospects for this type of guy? I don't buy that. But also,
if he's so I'm just sorry, but if he's the Babe Ruth of if he's being compared to Babe Ruth in this trade, you want to haul for this guy
for sure. But also the trade that we saw with Scherzer and Trey Turner, in order for the Dodgers to acquire him, like the Nationals did not have to. I mean, the Dodgers, did not have to give up a lot in order to acquire them. So maybe there's a chance that you and I on this show right now on July 24th of 2022, maybe we are just overvaluing or undervaluing these dudes.
Well, he's 23 years old, and if you saw the home run derby, put on a fucking show.
God, he was great, wasn't he?
Yeah. What do you think of the home run derby?
I really enjoy the home run derby. Everything but the Albert Pujols and them, crowding around him after the first round. It's like, dude, I still got 30 seconds left, though. I'd be like, get out of my way. I'm going to swing.
Exactly.
I'm going to hit you in the head with this bat if you don't get out of my way. I don't condone violence.
Who's the young guy for the Seattle Mariners?
Julio Rodriguez.
Put on a show, man. Yeah,
he had a missed opportunity to wear a backwards hat, though, didn't you think?
Yeah, he did. But no cap at all. I thought it was a good strategy, and then he just got tired as the night went on. But
Jesse kept talking about his eyes, and I was like, damn, I'm looking at his eyes too. He's got some.
Oh, dude,
he's got
piercing green eyes.
He's got some piercing pupils, man. I got to give him credit for that.
But yeah, both those guys, Juan Soto at 23 years old, Julio at 22. Those are probably the faces of baseball going forward.
Man,
and Shohei, if he doesn't get traded, which is a possibility now.
This was something, though, that I saw was a lot of, well, baseball's in good hands. Like, I saw that, that those, how many baseballs in good? I saw those 4 words. I don't know if you want to count 5 along with the apostrophe.
I don't count that as a word. It's punctuation.
That's the whole point of punctuation, is to make it one word as opposed to 2. But when I saw those 4 words, I'm like, well, it's been in good hands, though. Like, baseball has,
like the All-State guy.
Ever since,
are you in good hands?
Exactly. Sorry. Ever since the 2019 All-Star game, when Vladimir Guerrero Jr. just went off and Pete Alonso ended up winning the entire thing. It was Vladimir versus Jock Peterson in the semifinal, and they had one for the ages. Go back and watch that if you have 15 minutes. It's so entertaining. But baseball's been in good hands with the players. They're just not in good hands with the commissioner. They're not in good hands with the people who are running the league. Like, once you get them in good hands, then baseball's great. But it doesn't matter with the players, because in the end, it does with Major League Baseball. So, sure, you're in good hands with the players. Like, that's been known. But you got to change commissioner until we think baseball's really in good hands.
I agree with you. And I enjoyed the All-Star game. I like the guys being mic'd up, the pitchers. Liam Hendricks telling Julio, hang on to that ball.
Julio!
Yeah.
It was like an Australian version of Rocky.
Yeah, a little bit.
Julio! Give me the ball!
And Liam Hendricks is fun, man. There's no good way to do that, because I hated when they did that during the playoff game against the A's and the White Sox, and Ramon Laureano was mic'd up, and you could tell he was distracted.
Yeah.
No fault of Flem's, but I just don't know how you. I mean, I don't know how you. I mean, you got these stars. You mean Julio Rodriguez, Juan Soto, Shohei Ohtani, and the All-Star game is always fun, but at the same time, I just don't think that. I mean, the ratings were not very good. So, yeah, I don't know the state of baseball. I mean, you say we're in good hands with the players, but you're right. As far as ownership and the commissioners, they don't do a very good, or the commissioner, Rob Manfred, they don't do a good job of promoting the game and making it better for the new era of fans.
Yeah, let's also put the All-Star game in a time in the middle of July when literally everyone in the country can go outside for the entire day and night and do whatever they want, as opposed to, when are they supposed to put it? I don't know. I mean, it's the middle of the season. It's just
that's the way it's always been, but
it is. But it's just baseball, man. And I think that game, it shows what baseball is right now. That game was a lot of 3 true outcomes game. These pitchers just outmatching these hitters. And that's what you're seeing a lot of right now. It's very entertaining to see that in the All-Star game. Like, God, who was that guy from the Cardinals? I don't even remember his name. It was like Hensley or something. He was throwing like 103.
Yeah.
I'm like, dude, he's up a bit.
Easy.
It was like Luis Arias from the Twins when he was up batting against him. He's like, dude, this guy's throwing 103, 104. It's an All-Star game, bro. It's an exhibition.
Who was the guy that was talking with Smoltz that was like, what do you think I should do here, Smoltz? And Smoltz was telling him, he was like, nah, I think I'm going to do this instead.
You mean Alex Manoah?
Yeah. That was fun.
Yeah, but what about the back foot slider when Smoltz is like, I want a back foot slider?
Yeah.
And he goes, oh, you're sexy. That was so funny.
It was fun. It was fun. Now, you can't do that for regular season games, but there's got to be a way to make the game grow.
I know, man. If you could just have the pitchers and catchers mic'd up though, like Nestor Cortez and Jose Trevino from the Yankees, when they're just talking to each other and they could hear each other through the mic. I don't even know if that's legal in baseball, but hearing those two
why not?
Hearing those two just game plan it, put the glove over the mouth, like that'd be great.
I wouldn't do that for TV purposes, but I would do it for the betterment, like they do the NFL. The offense coordinator could talk to the quarterback.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Yeah.
God, I'm picturing like Sean McVay talking to Jared Goff back then, like back when he was calling plays.
Jared.
Jesus Christ, Jared, just get it right, please. You'd see a lot of condescension through that, I think.
Just wait for Kyle Shanahan and Trey Lance, man. You fucking ran on that play, Trey? God damn it.
Oh my God. Kyle Shanahan and Trey Lance do it. Trey, I don't know. Maybe you should have ran that play. I don't know if that play really gave us the best chance to win, Trey. Maybe we should do another play.
Stealing my impression.
I mean, good artists steal or whatever. Good artists create and great artists steal, bro.
I guess.
And make it better.
You know what Steph Curry should have done?
What?
Stole from Norm Macdonald, because the day after the All-Star game, we watched Steph Curry host the ESPYs, and I'm not going to kill Steph, but it wasn't great. But he's also an athlete. He's not a comedian. And I put more blame on the writers, because a lot of it was softballs. Besides the Grant Williams joke, that was timely because Grant Williams made that joke about him earlier in the day. And why is Grant Williams there? But regardless, I thought, Draymond being incorporated was kind of funny with the podcast. I thought Draymond could have been a better host, honestly. I loved Klay Thompson and his acceptance speech for comeback athlete. They gave every award to Steph Curry. He got record-breaking athlete of the year, NBA, or no, I think it was Shohei Ohtani won athlete of the year. But for the host of the show, he got a shit ton of awards. So as far as, like on our show, we played the whole 8 minutes, the classic Norm Macdonald doing the ESPYs, and that was in a different time, a different era where he was grilling all the athletes. By the way, have you ever seen when Will Ferrell came out as Harry Carey and made fun of John Elway?
No.
Oh, look that up, dude. It is hilarious. It is, Norm Macdonald brings, hey, here we go. We got the great Cubs announcer, Harry Carey. Harry, come out here. And then Harry comes, and then Will Ferrell comes like, what's going on, everybody? Oh, there I see John Elway. This is back in 1998. He just won a Super Bowl with the Denver Broncos. You mean, you should get better teeth, don't you think? And then he's like going around the room. There's Tiger Woods, arguably the 3rd or 4th best black golfer in the game.
Yeah, they need just comedians to do it. I thought Steph was fine. I thought he was. I actually called him a natural. I think he's a natural at that stuff.
Oh,
but you need.
well, I mean, he's comfortable in his own skin, but like,
yeah, you need comedians to do it.
Yeah,
though.
they had to bring out Jay Farrow for the Steph finally made it.
Yeah.
Catchy song.
It was a catchy song, and Jay Farrow just, celebrities are in the are in the house, and he does his Shaq as Charles Barkley. It's like, dude, you've been doing I love the bit, but you've been doing that same bit since 2012. I was like, I was showing people YouTube videos of you doing those exact same impressions because I thought you were going to be the next big thing. Turns out that's all you got.
Yeah, no, I mean, he is just an impression guy.
Yeah, well, it's like
he had that show on Showtime, but besides that,
well, it's no other impressions though. It's the same impressions every single time, and maybe that's just the ESPYs crowd and having to play to that. But I don't know, man. I don't know. The ESPYs, whatever. I didn't really watch too much of it.
Yeah, me neither. I watched the opening monologue and then I was done, and then I caught everything else on Twitter.
Yep.
Well, Steven, we got training camp coming up this week, and hopefully we get more news on Jimmy Garoppolo and Deshaun Watson. And there's still a lot of free agents out there and potential trades. And before we get into training camp, I want to give you my top 5 moves that I think are going to be made. Get excited, people. You got music, Steven?
I do.
Let's do it. All right. Top 5 moves that I expect to happen during training camp. So, number 5. This is going to be technically kind of 2 moves, but they're 2 big name wide receivers from back in the day that I think are going to sign before the season starts.
5A, 5B.
Yes. You got Julio Jones. Julio Jones had a subpar season last season with the Tennessee Titans. Hardly played.
Titans.
Yes. But a lot of people wonder if he's going to be sweet, just naming the team that he played for. Oh, you called me out because I didn't pronounce the T, you son of a bitch.
Exactly right.
God damn it. I thought you were just assisting me with the team. All right. Anyway, so Julio Jones, he is looking for a new team this offseason, and everybody was talking about if he would reunite with Kyle Shanahan. I don't think that's going to happen. I think he sees his old buddy with Matt Ryan and the Colts. They need some veteran depth in their wide receiver core. I think Julio Jones is going to sign with the Indianapolis Colts before the season starts. This technically isn't a training camp move. I expect, so the rule is, if you sign a guy week 2 after the season starts, you don't have to guarantee his money for the entire season. Okay. So, who do we see in the Super Bowl tear his ACL? Odell Beckham Jr. And it's going to be a risky move to give him a full contract because we don't know if he's actually going to play. But it would probably benefit the Rams if they knew he was going to come back at some point and help them on an already loaded team. I expect the LA Rams to sign Odell Beckham Jr. back because they all look, good together, getting those really ridiculous rings the other night. The stadium's inside the ring. You see that shit?
Yes.
Yeah. He was there for the ring ceremony. I expect Odell Beckham Jr. to be back with the Rams, but he won't sign until week 2 of the season.
So the Julio Jones thing, all right, you got me going, but you just got Odell Beckham going back to the team that he was on last year.
That's why it's number 5. That's why it's number 5, Steven.
God, I hope these top 4 are better than that one.
They will be. Okay, number 4. This has been rumored. We heard this guy wants to go to this team. I'm surprised it hasn't happened yet.
Okay.
Training camp has started for this team.
Right.
There's some other teams in the mix, but I do think this is going to happen eventually. They do need more beef on their defensive line. I think the Las Vegas Raiders, within a couple of weeks, will sign Ndamukong Suh before the season starts.
Ooh, big one.
And they do have cap space to sign him, so I think that's going to happen. Trades at number 3.
Ooh.
We saw before the franchise tag deadline end, Jesse Bates, safety for the Cincinnati Bengals, did not get a new deal. And the Cincinnati Bengals drafted a new safety in Daxton Hill, I believe that's his name, out of Michigan. I don't think they're going to give Jesse Bates that new contract. I don't think Jesse Bates is going to show up at training camp. I think he gets traded to a team that needs safety help. I think Jesse Bates will be traded to the Philadelphia Eagles before the season starts. Like that one?
That was a good one.
All right.
I could say, you really don't think they're going to sign him, though?
I don't.
Wow.
Because
be
Mike Brown, not our guy Mike Brown, Kings Mike Brown, Bengals owner Mike Brown is notoriously cheap, and I don't think he's going to pay him.
All right. Keep going.
Number 2.
You're keeping me here. You've really improved this one. I really thought you were about to say, and Jesse Bates is going to go back to the Penguins.
No. Come on, it's got to be more sexier than that.
Yeah.
That's why Odell Beckham Jr., that one was 5B. All right. So, number 2. The Green Bay Packers have a lot of rookies and kind of washed-up veterans as their wide receivers. They drafted Christian Watson, a couple of other guys. They signed Sammy Watkins. They got Alan Lazard. They got Randall Cobb. Not a lot of great speed in that receiving core. I think that the Green Bay Packers are going to trade for a guy that we know that was with the Raiders and with the Patriots last season. He's going to be a free agent this season. I think the Green Bay Packers are going to trade for Nelson Aguilar before the season starts.
Be a good move for them. They need something.
I think that's a possibility.
Yeah.
And then finally, number 1, and I have an extra one, but number 1, as far as training camp moves, we talked about it earlier. I do think that when it's all said and done, Deshaun Watson will get suspended 8 games. Probably the woman doing the ruling gives him a shorter sentence, and then Roger Goodell's like, that's not good for PR. We're going to suspend him 8 games or more. I think Jimmy Garoppolo, when it's all said and done, does get traded to the Cleveland Browns.
Wow.
Yeah.
Is there like a royalty-free explosion drop that I could play? No, it doesn't look like it.
And then a bonus one. I don't think this is going to happen during training camp, but we're hearing a lot of rumors with Robert Quinn. Got 18 sacks last season with the Chicago Bears. He's getting up there in age, and he is not going to be a free agent anytime soon. But the Chicago Bears are not going to be good anytime soon, and there's a lot of rumors about him getting dealt. I believe that he's going to start the season with the Chicago Bears, but in a similar move that we saw a year ago with Von Miller, I do believe that the Los Angeles Rams will reunite with Robert Quinn at the trade deadline, try to find a way for the Chicago Bears to pay for the majority of his salary and have Robert Quinn team up with Leonard Floyd and Aaron Donald on that defensive line.
So you're saying this is going to be at the trade deadline?
I do, yes.
The November trade deadline.
Yes.
Damn, so you're giving me a bonus take here that could happen 4 months from now.
I just think that it's going to be tough for the Rams to acquire him before that with their salary cap. I think that they'll try to convince the Chicago Bears to pay the majority of his salary for the remaining 8 games of the rest of the season, similar to Von Miller last season. I wouldn't be the least bit surprised if they try to get a reunion with Robert Quinn.
All right. Well, that's pretty good.
Yeah. So there you go.
I wish I could speak on the other ones. It's very convincing of you. It actually got me going down the rabbit hole, though, of unrestricted free agent wide receivers right now. Because
there's quite a few still.
After you mentioned Julio Jones, I wanted to look at the list. You got Julio Jones, you got Will Fuller, T.Y. Hilton, Cole Beasley, Emmanuel Sanders, Alan Hearns, Deshaun Jackson, Danny Amendola. God, man, this is just this whole list.
A lot of slot guys, and a lot of they're older, but I think a lot of those guys will get signed during training camp.
This whole list is like the championship team for a 2015 fantasy football team.
Exactly.
Right? That's so
they're
funny.
It's like now. They're in their 30s, but
I got Julio Jones as my number 1. I got T.Y. Hilton as my number 2. I got Will Fuller, a deep threat, as my number 3. I got Cole Beasley and Emmanuel Sanders coming off the bench. I got a young Alan Hearns. I got Deshaun Jackson. Oh, wow. That's crazy.
Yeah.
How about that?
All right. We'll see if that happens during training camp. Before we leave, Steven, anything you've been watching for pop culture catch-up?
Ooh, pop culture catch-up. All right, let me get the ticker up. Let me go away from these contracts. Ticker up in 3, 2, 1. What have I been watching lately? Not a lot. Watched Little Miss Sunshine last night. You ever seen Little Miss Sunshine?
Of course.
Oh,
great movie.
This makes you feel good.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
One of Steve Carell's best performances.
I'd never seen it prior to that.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah. After we were done with dinner, Jesse's like, all right, we'll just put anything on. And I said, how about Little Miss Sunshine? Then she said, I wouldn't be opposed to it. I'm probably going to fall asleep, though. And I said, you know what? I am too, but I can watch the rest in the morning. I stayed up the entire night. I was up till like 1 a.m. watching that.
Great movie.
Great movie.
Alan Arkin.
Alan Arkin, fantastic.
Oscar-winning performance.
Yes. What else have I been watching? God, we haven't. I mean, it's taken what, 2 weeks?
It's been a couple weeks.
Yeah.
You know what I've been watching actually?
What's that?
I didn't think I'd be into this, but not a lot's going on right now. I've been watching the Derek Jeter documentary on ESPN.
Yes, me too. How do you like it so far?
Here's the thing. For a guy that doesn't have a lot of skeletons in the closet, it's interesting, but there's no drama to it. But I also, when I was younger, I hated Derek Jeter because the Yankees would beat the A's in the playoffs. And he has that play against Jeremy Giambi. And I always thought that Derek Jeter, he's overrated. He's up there with some of he's like, what, top 5 in most hits?
Yeah.
Behind like Pete Rose and a couple other guys. I am just watching the guy talk. He's growing on me. So I'm thinking,
like, what's he like? What's he saying? Like, what's his?
He just has a chill attitude. He's not really like, he was talking about how he partied back in the day, but as far as like, I never thought he was an arrogant guy. I just didn't, I didn't really know what to think of him. And I guess I just didn't like him because he was a Yankee. But the more I hear him talk, the more I'm like, I kind of respect this guy. He plays baseball. It was the team he always wanted to play for. He, has sex with practically all of New York.
Right.
Sends them on their way with a gift basket. Kind of like this guy.
Yeah, there's there's just this idea. Like, Derek Jeter was almost more of an idea than he was like an actual human being. You know what I mean? Like, when I grew up watching baseball, it's like it's Derek Jeter, like, this dude's the captain. He's the champion. He is the typical player that you want to be. Like me growing up as a baseball guy and, wanted to be like a professional baseball player when I was a kid. Derek Jeter was the dude. You want to look at him. You want to be like him. And, you obviously learn more about him, like the goodie bag stuff or whatever. But like, I didn't even know where he was from, dude.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't know he was
Kalamazoo.
I didn't know he was from Kalamazoo, Michigan. I just assumed he was from like upstate New York or something. Yeah. I didn't know he was from Kalamazoo, and watching him get drafted and seeing him on the phone with like the sweatpants, he's in like a small living room. He's got the phone. I was taken aback. I was like, damn, I never really thought about Derek Jeter being this guy who's just a, kind of average Joe, just a young kid growing up playing baseball, as he's just sitting there in sweats and he's, with his family and everything. I don't know. Derek Jeter's always been kind of like in the Tom Brady realm for me, where you don't really even think about these dudes just as regular people. Like, you don't even think they have a regular life at all, but they do. That first episode was really, that was enthralling to me. Like, just watching the whole struggle he had in rookie ball or whatever, and then all of a sudden just making his way through the minor leagues. And then I think that was the episode where they brought in like The World Is Yours by Nas, and they started playing that. It started getting sick. And what was that in the last one? The last episode was more like about the World Series, right? And then being the first
96.
Yeah.
And it starts, I mean, the most intriguing thing about this documentary may just be that him and A-Rod talk shit about each other as we lose Steven to another freeze frame. Oh, there he's there.
Yeah. I'm good. Are we good?
You're good.
Okay.
But they bring up the fact that him and A-Rod were buddies back in the early 90s. And how, I guess, he wasn't really perceived very well initially by the team, like Andy Pettitte. And
the Andy Pettitte thing was hilarious.
Yeah, and he was just like, he was like, yeah, you remind me of my uncle. And Andy Pettitte's like, whatever. And Derek Jeter's like, I remember that vividly. And Andy Pettitte's like, I don't remember it, whatever.
Yeah.
What I will say is that there's just not a lot of drama to it. It's just that he played. Like, even when they talk about his struggles in the minors, it quickly goes to, and he was the best thing you ever saw in the minors. And then he starts playing baseball. The thing about these documentaries that are coming out now with Tom Brady and Michael Jordan is that there's a little drama to it. That, it's not just everything was sunshine. And so far, that's the case with this. There's not a lot of drama to it. Derek Jeter had a great career. If you frown upon the way he handled things with the ladies back in the day, I mean, whatever.
There's a different style to it. Like, watching how champions become champions is fascinating.
No, that's true.
Like, they may not be like a Dennis Rodman, where really their entire career was just turbulent with a bunch of drama, as we're calling it here. Like, I don't know. I think there's something to watching how these guys turn into who they are as champions. It's pretty cool. Of course, there's not as much drama to make it that exciting, but I don't know. I mean, you watch, like, for example, like The U, you watch that documentary, and it's just basically like a nonstop celebration of the University of Miami football. Of course, you had that stuff with what's his name, Nevin Shapiro. You had all that scandal, the booster stuff. Well, you had all that. There's a little drama there, but I think you'll see some with the Yankees, and that's really what it's all about, right? So I think it's cool.
Yeah, no, I totally get the whole process of becoming a great champion, but it's just not.
It's boring to you, Derek.
It's not boring. I still find it fascinating, just because it's fun to have. It's nostalgia. It's nostalgia to look back at the old '90s Yankees, even though I hated that team. It's just fun to watch that stuff.
Yeah. One more thing though, and I texted this to you, but this comedian Andrew Schultz, he basically gained popularity utilizing YouTube. Like, he used YouTube to post his stand-up clips, his crowd work, everything that he does in the clubs, and he uses Instagram. Then he goes on, like, podcasts like Joe Rogan and everything. He has his own podcast called The Flagrant 2, which has turned into the Flagrant podcast. But he had a stand-up special coming out called Infamous, and he was going to do it. He didn't reveal the streamer, but they basically censored him. They said that, hey, you need to edit out these specific jokes, or else we're not going to put your stand-up bit on that. We're not going to put your special on the air. We're not going to put it on our service. So he basically said, all right, well, you know what? No deal. You're not censoring me. I'm not going to do this. So what he did was he basically created, and it's something kind of like what Louis C.K. did, where he created something through his website, promoted the living shit out of it through social media, through podcasts and all of that. You go to his website, you purchase the special from there, and he has made a boatload of money. So, like, I don't know, like, nobody is going to be able to match those Netflix deals that you get. You get a 5 special deal or whatever it is worth this amount of money. But I think you're going to see is this new rise in comedians where they do kind of a similar thing, where they gain their popularity through social media. They don't even work with streamers, and they just make it independent. It really is kind of like music right now, where guys just want to go independent, go away from the label, whatever, and just do their own thing. You're going to see that, I think, with comedians. I watched that and I saw how much money he made. And it's like, damn, he like tripled the amount that he spent on making it. It's an even more. That was just after the first couple of days.
So, it's the new media for comedians.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised in this era where comedians don't want to be censored. Comedians don't want their jokes to be edited like his. I wouldn't be shocked, man, if we really catch this new wave here.
Do you know the jokes that they wanted to be removed?
Oh God, there was one talking about why Ted Bundy's the GOAT.
Oh, come on.
It's funny.
No, of course relax. Like, what?
Right.
So you don't know the streamer that was up in arms about it?
No, he won't reveal the streamer and who it was.
Well, that's fair, I guess.
Yeah, but there's also something, there's something rebellious about it, where people want to purchase it just so they could rebel against the corporations. Stick it to the man. They have stick it to demoniosis.
I was about to say that.
Yeah. But I don't know, man. It's really cool. So I haven't purchased a special personally. I don't have enough money to do that right now. Just spending extra.
How much does it cost?
I don't know. I think $25 or something. No, man, he's a good comedian, dude. And these guys, the big names get the Netflix specials. But if you're a small name like that, you're trying to rise in popularity, do it through social media and just do it through your website. Just do that.
Yeah. No, it could be something that catches on. I'm going to go catch, when we're done with this, I'm going to go see Nope.
Yup.
Are you well, your showing was at 5:30. Are you still going to make that? Probably not.
Nope.
Well, maybe by next podcast we'll review the movie if both of us end up seeing it. And we'll both be at training camp. You for sure. I'm still a game time decision. I may go up next Saturday. But yeah, God, I never thought I would be at Niners training camp. This is so different for me.
I'm very excited. I've never been to a training camp before, especially up close like that.
Nice. And Ernie's seen Nope, I guess. So maybe he'll join us in on the review next week.
Nope.
All right, everybody. Thanks for tuning in for this lengthy one. We'll be back next week. And Steven, say what you always say, my friend.
Oh, it's just our opinion. No.